Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Tottenham Tantrum Gold, your home of classic debates, classic content, and of course, classic content. Today, I am here starting on my own, waiting for Mr. Dermot to arrive, and possibly we might have some other people joining the show. You never know who's going to turn up through the coffee company's door. Today, we're going to be talking about Burnley tomorrow night. It's going to be a very difficult game. Burnley are not as easy a team to play against as you think. They have started to pick up a bit of form. So whether Burnley will give us a tough game, we don't know. But we seem to be hoping after beating that lot Man City the other day that maybe we can beat little Burnley. To start off, I'm going to see who's in the chat. Mr. Celery Agent is here. Oi, 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 oi. Lovely to see you, Mr. Celery Agent, as always. My Achi, Shelley, Brian, Mr. Brian Daigle is here in the house. Lovely to see Brian, as always. Absolute legendary human being he is. Saying good morning, everyone. How are we all today? I am very good, Brian, and hopefully the rest of the chat is very good. It's been a good morning so far, but we're going to be getting there. I'm going to be talking about the Burnley game. Mr. John Fitzpatrick is in the building. Lovely to see you, Fitzy. Always good to see you in the chat. Big up yourself, sir. Absolutely legendary bloke. And hopefully you're doing well as well. Mr. Moondog is in the house. Lovely to see you as well, Moondog. Brilliant to see you, in fact. It's always wonderful to see people like Moondog in the chat, especially after sending such gracious gifts the other day. So big up, Moondog. And I hope you're having a good morning, sir. Celery saying legends right here. Yep, you're right. Everyone is a legend in this chat. And no bad eggs here. Mr. Philip Brady, the Godfather, is in the house saying morning, gents. Morning, Mr. Brady. Hopefully you're doing well. Hopefully you're doing well. Celery saying good morning to Philip. Swifty is in the house. Good morning, everyone. And all hit that like and subscribe. Thank you, Mr. Swift, for joining as always. Your time is very valuable and it's always brilliant to see you in the chat. Absolute legend. Celery saying Swifty. Big up to Celery Agent from Mr. Swift. We're going on a run. Come on, you Spurs from Mr. Moondog. Absolutely, Moondog. Absolutely. We're going to win the league. We're not that delusional. We're not going on the Cuba train of being ultimate delusion. Stevie Cartwright is in the building. Morning, everyone. Hope you are all well. I am well, Mr. Stevie Cartwright. I am well. Hopefully you're doing well as well. Mr. Carl Simpson is in the chat saying, morning, Ben. Morning to you, Mr. Simpson. Hopefully you're doing well, sir. Hopefully you're doing well as well. Nicholas or Barry or Gav or Jaime or is in the chat. The man with many names, but always lovely to see you, Nick, Barry, or whatever name you want to be today. Always brilliant to see you. Big up yourself, sir. Celery saying, Bazaar. Yeah. Swift is saying, thanks, Ben. Big up, sir. Big up, Mark. JC is in the house. Lovely to see you, JC. And hopefully you're doing well. And Mr. Derek Hutchinson is also in the building. Lovely to see you, sir. Lovely to see you as always. Hopefully you're doing well as well. And Nick is saying insert name here. So, Burnley. Burnley. I want to get all your guys' predictions before I start putting my thoughts into the YouTube space. How do you think we're going to do against Burnley? Is it going to be an easier game than usual? Are we going to absolutely power drive them? Or is it just going to be one of those traditional Burnley games? We turn up, they put balls in the box and we crumble. Burnley has been a bogey team for us for many, many years. It's a very difficult place to go, Turf Moor. And they're doing very well there at the moment. They're doing very well after beating a supposedly better team than Tottenham, Brighton, lol, 3-0 at the weekend, at the Amex as well. So, yeah. It's going to be a trickier game than we think, but I believe the lads can push through. Josh Smith is in the building saying, big up, mate. Score prediction for the Burnley win. I'm going for 4-1. Lovely to see you, Mr. Smith. Hopefully you're doing well, sir. Hopefully you're doing well. Nick is saying 3 points is all. Derek Caption saying 2-1 Spurs. 2-1 Spurs. I like your optimism. Hopefully it's a bit less of a close game than that. I want to batter them, personally. Moondog, 3-0 to us. That's where we need to be, Moondog. Let's batter them. Salary agent saying 4-1. He's going for the Mr. K prediction. Lovely to see that, Celery. Lovely to see that. Who's going to get the Burnley goal? Salary agent saying, come on, you Spurs. Come on, you Spurs, indeed. Carl Simpson is saying Burnley 1, Tottenham 3. Spurs, both. Their best players, Weghorst and Cornet, have both got knocks and late fitness tests. We might have a few knocks as well, so that don't be surprised if some of the heroes from the weekend might not play. Swifty is saying 2-1 Spurs. Up the Spurs. I like a lot of people think this is going to be a closer game, so maybe I'm not mad. John Fitzpatrick, the legend, is saying fancy Kane to keep his form going with 2, maybe 3 goals. It's going to be. Stevie Cartwright is saying, I predict someone will win. I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. I mean, well, maybe it could be a draw. Maybe it could be a draw. Who knows? And Mr. John Fitzpatrick is saying, what's your channel called, bro? My channel is called The Coffee Company, which we will share at the end of the stream. So we're going to do Tottenham Tantrum Gold stuff before we even start to thinking about promoting The Coffee Company. So, as I just said before, Burnley have just won their last game 3-0 at Brighton, which is not an easy place to go. So they're going to be on top form coming into this game. And it's going to be a very interesting performance. Tottenham obviously on a high from the Manchester City game, where we played absolutely brilliantly in that second half and in the first half even, looked absolutely defensively solid. And with Dyer and Romero coming into this team and showing how to defend and making Emerson look like a quality right back, which is a crazy thing, really. And it's a really interesting thought now. Maybe if this team can keep defensively solid, maybe they can get through a Burnley who don't always look like they're scoring. But we learned that from Wolves, that even teams that don't really score many goals can still beat us. So we need to be very, very wary of that. So, right, we've got my first guest on who's not a guest. This is the man who is the leader of the Tottenham Tantrum Gold Army. He is the general of everyone. He is the Mr. Sulu, absolutely legendary bloke. He's slightly late, but better late than never, as we always say. It is my mate. It's your mate. It's Mr. Dermot. How are you this morning, sir?
I am fine. I am top of the world, Ben. How are you, sir?
We're doing
sorry.
good.
Yeah, I had a bit of laptop problems. I finally sorted out our Patreon, linked it to the channel last night. So everyone now can become a Patreon member of TTG, and I'll explain how you do that in a minute. Have you gone through the comments?
We're about to look through some of the other comments.
Right. If I hit them, you read them.
No problem.
So whereabouts are we?
I've just highlighted the one we're on. The salary agent is saying 19th. They need to be punished and swept aside. Good stuff. We need to batter them.
Are we talking about Burnley? We're gonna sweep Burnley aside. No problem. 5-0. Absolutely 5-0.
Salary agent is saying if we are seriously going for the top 4, we need to start putting some goals on that goal difference board.
We certainly do. We certainly do, Ben.
Derek is saying big up, Dermot. Big up yourself.
Big up, Derek, and thank you for joining us this morning.
Kenji Crafts, I don't know this name, but hello. Hopefully you're doing well, sir, or ma'am, or miss, or whatever gender you're going for. There are many now.
They are. He's contacting us from Twitch.
Yeah.
So that's our first Twitch message. So big up, sir.
Lovely, Kenji. Lovely to see you here. Moondog is saying, just shows what you can do when every player is working for each other. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for
This
sure.
team looks like such a unit now that we're seeing some unity in this team. And we could go on another 9-game unbeaten run. We can do it.
Yeah.
Mark Swift is saying, morning, Dermot. Morning.
Morning, Mark Swift. Thank you for joining us again.
And Celery saying, big up, Dermot, you top man.
Oh, you're very kind, Celery Agent. You're very kind, sir.
Is this Mr. Shaggy that's now going by his full name, Ian? If it is so, lovely to see you. Lovely to see you as always. And if it isn't Shaggy, welcome to the channel, and we're hoping you're doing well. But I do think it's our friend Mr. Ian who's just given us a name trade. It's a similar colour from what I remember. He's saying top 4 at FA Cup. FA Cup every day of the week. The FA Cup is more than special to this football club. It was the club that we used to own, the cup we used to own back in the 80s, and we need that trophy back. It will be the symbology that Tottenham Hotspur are back as a football club. And before we read any more of the comments, we've actually got a third guest. Bloody hell!
We have.
Everyone is here.
This is like a reunion every morning.
This man is the comedy genius of the Tottenham Tantrum Gold Army. He's your mate. He's my mate. It's Mr. Cooper 99. How are you doing this morning, sir?
I was only coming on because I thought Dermot wasn't there.
Yeah, but then he turned up.
I'm absolutely shattered, mate. But oh well, I'm here now, I suppose.
You can always pop up at any time you want, sir. So
okay, see you later.
Yeah. And John Fitzpatrick is saying, "Big up, Dermot, brother. Big up, Fitzy."
Yeah, big up, John.
We can go to Cuba firstly because his time is very valuable this morning because he is exhausted after being on the show last night till probably 3 o'clock in the morning. What do you think about this Burnley game? We're off a high from the Man City game. We're playing like a team finally. We're looking like we can play some football. What are we going to do to them Burnley lot? Is it going to be a tricky one?
They've got that 11-foot tall super skyscraper up front now, haven't they? Vegas or whatever it is. So it's going to be. He might not play.
He's got a knock, so he's got a late fitness test.
Yeah, but if he gets a knock on his leg, it takes 2 weeks before it reaches his brain to register it, doesn't it? So he's probably playing through it. Yeah, well, if he has got a knock, that's going to help because they'll have nothing up front, really, will they? They've got one skillful player, but he can't do it by himself, and the rest of it. I mean, it's Burnley, for God's sake. They're down the bottom of the table for a reason. They're rubbish. We've got better players than they have, despite what people say about our squad this season. It was still better than theirs. So all we have to do, get the ball on the deck, play some football. Harry Kane's on form, Son's on form, Decky's on form. What's the problem? Just go and outplay them. 5-0, easy win. Kane hat-trick. Shot the haters up yet again. And a couple of flying overhead inverted Rabonas from Lloris from the halfway line for the other 2 goals.
Oh, that's an interesting one.
In the top corner. Right, yeah, just to make it more special because it wouldn't be otherwise. So let's just be having it. We'll just swarm them all over them. Way better team.
Going on to a controversial subject, a lot of people in the Tottenham YouTube space have been complaining that we've not been bigging up Decky enough, or Dejan Kulusevski. We call him Decky because he doesn't actually like being called Kulu for many reasons. Decky is a lot of people in the Tottenham community have been saying we've not been lapping up the praise for Decky enough. Do you think that is the case? I've been singing his praises for the last 4 days. I don't know personally. What's your take on this, Dermot? Do you think people have not been bigging up Decky enough?
I think we had to give him time to get used to the Premier League. I really do. I don't think he's now getting into his stride. So I think now we're going to see the best of him. I think we really will. But we just got to give him time. He's only 21. So let's give him time. But I think he played brilliant on Saturday. I thought he really did. And as you said, Ben, yesterday, he's got a footballing brain. He may not have the pace, but he has the brain to run with it. So yeah, so to me, it's going to look good. I'm looking forward to it. I think it's a game we should win. These are the games we have to pick up the points in if we're going to get top 4. We have to back up the Man City win with another good win. And I think we will tomorrow night, and I think we'll win quite convincingly. We're due to give the team a battering. It's coming.
Do you think we've not been... Yeah, great words, Dermot. Do you think we've not been giving Decky enough plaudits at Cuba, or do you reckon people are going out of their way to be negative for no reason?
Well, you can't really give him much plaudits and much of a big up on the first 2 games because we barely saw him really. So I don't see the problem. He played really well against City and he got credit for it. What's the problem? It's as it should be. The fact that he played so well against City is the big bonus. I mean, well, I was expecting, it might take some of these players a little bit of time to settle in, but they looked like they were doing the job. So yeah, no problem. I think we have a tendency that there's always without trying to sort of single people out or sort of shame them in any way, but there are elements within the Spurs community where they expect you to go crazy about every new signing instantly, like they're the best thing that's ever played, which I think is a bit unrealistic. But I understand the positivity sort of vibe and letting yourself go to it. Like the Paratici is the Don before he's done much and things like that. I get it, but I prefer to sort of hold back and wait until they actually prove themselves a bit. But with Decky, it can't ask for more than that. Having a stunningly good display at Manchester City. I mean, what more can you do to convince people there's something about your game that's worthwhile? I thought he did really well. So, yeah, big up.
Would you say though, you just mentioned there that people are being overly positive, which is could be a bit of a difficult thing because you never know until they prove themselves. Do you think people are also being the complete opposite of that, of being overly negative for the sake of being overly negative? So that seems to be my thoughts on this fan base at the moment. Everyone's either overly negative or they're overly positive. And there doesn't seem to be a sense of balance within this community at the moment. I know we're all fickle football fans.
Is that not what Spurs is all about? It's the roller coaster. Every win's a banquet. Every loss is a famine. I've always been like it. People say, so I have a go at fickle fans. I can count myself as a fickle fan. It's devastating if we lose. We're going to win the quadruple every time we win. I haven't got a problem with it. It's fun doing it that way.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I suppose you could say overly negative. When things aren't going well, of course we're down in the dumps. I mean, and I'm not one of these people that will say you can't boo the team, because if they're underperforming and not trying, they deserve a boo. But if they're putting in the effort and get beaten fair and square by a great team, that's another story altogether. You still back them then and just say, well, hard luck, can't do anything about that if they're going to be... If Man City come out of the blocks firing and they show all their world-class players on top form and banging in goals from the edge of the area and the top corners, a bit like Bayern Munich when they stuffed us at home a few seasons back. You've got to sometimes just admire that, because the Bayern Munich game in particular, we came out, we were giving them a hell of a game in the first half.
Yeah.
But then when they took over, everything was fine in the corner. It was astonishing. So as long as the effort's going in, give them all the backing you can. But the moment they stop, give them a boo. I don't care. They deserve it. They deserve a boo if they're not pulling their weight.
Accountability.
Yeah.
I'm going to put that to you, Dermot. Do you think some fans are being overly negative about the Man City game? Do you think people are being overly positive and overly negative at the same time?
I think some fans can be very fickle. I think some fans can be... You can never please them, some of them. Tottenham could go out and win 7-0 and it still wouldn't be good enough.
Yeah.
I think this season... this season's a roller coaster season for us, for all Tottenham fans. We've gone through the heartache of looking for a manager. Then we get the GOAT, the Garden Gnome, who just stands down the touchline like he doesn't do anything. Then we'll go through 3 games. We're top of the league. We're going to win the league, and then we get Then we lose to Manchester United, and then he's sacked, and then Conte's brought in. We got 8 games unbeaten. Yeah, hey, we're back top 4's ours. Then we lose to Southampton, and then we lose to Wolves. The Wolves have come off again. So I think it's a very roller coaster here. I think some fans can be quite fickle, but I think Coover is right. If the team ain't playing well, you have a right to boo them. As fans, we have a right to tell them how we feel. This isn't like some clubs where you don't boo the side. We at Tottenham expect the very, very best. We expect the highest of the highest performances every game you go on to that team. They've done that through all the years. They've done that through the Super Spurs, through Bill next year. They've done it through Keith Birkinshaw's years, even under David Pleat, through his one season before he went doing what he did, Curb Con, whatever he did, looking for extra talent at night. I'm glad Coover liked that one. We've got to tell them how we feel, and if the day we stop telling the team how we feel, then we're no longer supporters. And it's important that if they're not playing well, we boo them. We've done it before, and we'll do it again. We live in a free world where we're entitled to free speech, and that includes telling Tottenham how players, if they're not playing well, how we feel about their playing. We don't live in a world where we can't say how we feel, and it's important.
I think you touched on it there, Dom, but I don't think you went far enough. What we've got nowadays, since Levy, is an acceptance of mediocrity, and it's spread to the fans. People are saying, "Oh yeah, 4th is a good season." No, it isn't. 4th is a failure of a season. 4th is scraping together the bare minimum just to make sure you try and win the next season. We should always be aiming for first place, win every trophy, win the league. That is the aim every single season. We've had 20 years of letting that slip. Well, we've had more than that. It was like that under Sugar as well.
Yeah.
We've had a very long time of doing this, and fans are now almost conditioned to accept it, and it's just not right. I'm not accepting it. I'm always going to be critical unless we're pushing for top, because that is where we belong. We've done it before, we should do it again. It's the same with Aston Villa. Their fans should be doing this. Newcastle fans should be like that. There's other clubs that have, Everton as well. They're big clubs that should also be pushing for trophies all the time, and they don't. At the moment the fans start accepting mediocrity, you will get mediocrity. There's no incentive for the owners to push further. That's what we've got to do. We've got to be at the throats of Levy all the time. You can't just let them get away with it. You've got to speak out.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people say that Levy out, or all us Levy outers just don't care about the club. We do. We do care about the club, and we care about the club deeply. We've been there when they've won something, but we want our club to be our club again. This is not our club, and the players that go out there represent us, the fans. They don't represent the Wolves fans or the Manchester United fans. They represent us, the Tottenham Hotspur fans. And there's some players who go onto that pitch, all they want to do is represent their next big move. You see Tottenham as a stepping stone. Right, I'll join Tottenham, play a few years, get a few 100,000, and then I'll move on to the next big thing. Well, they should be coming to us thinking, right, I can win stuff for Tottenham. I'll go out to that pitch every week and I'll represent them. I don't know what it holds now, White Hart Lane. I represent all them fans. The 60s side did it, the 70s side did it, even the relegation side represented the fans, and they fought and fought and fought, but weren't good enough. The early 80s team were like that. Every team that's been successful has represented the fans. And this lot of squad do not represent the fans because they only represent themselves, and it's got to stop. And that starts from the very top, and as Coover said, it trickles down. And all these Levy-inners that think, oh, it's great, top 4 is brilliant, it's not great. It doesn't win us trophies. It doesn't win us anything. And you've got to realise, would you rather, I would love to, I mean, this is the question, would you rather top 4 every season and never win a trophy? or I'd rather win trophies and have the success of that and not have top four. I mean, what would they say? And I'll start with you, Ben, on that, and then I'll go to you, Dude. But I mean, what would the Levian fans say to that?
Well, I would like to win the FA Cup every single season because for me, it's a special trophy. Of course, the teams that are more likely to win the FA Cup are the teams in the top four because they've got the most money. And that's when top four is an important part of winning trophies. We're not denying that by any stretch of the imagination, especially with the 180 million pounds you can get from the Champions League every season. But if you can't get over the line in a big game, what is the point of you?
That's true, Kuth.
I'm not going to accept any scenario where we have to settle for top four for trophies. Yeah. I want top one and trophies. Take all of it. Always aim for everything. You go out there every single game. You should be leaving everything you've got on the pitch. It's a cliche, but it's so true. Why did Sonny get taken off yesterday? Not yesterday, but on Saturday, after 80 minutes. Yeah. Was it because he was bad? Or was it because he was exhausted? To me, he was exhausted. He'd run himself out. It was fantastic to see. That's what you want to see every match from the forwards. It's what you want to see from the defenders putting their bodies on the line on everything, not turning their backs sheepishly. They want to be going in like raging bulls, like lions, just throw themselves at everything. You've got to see it. If the moment they stop dropping those standards, the moment you allow mediocrity into the club at any level, that is what you will always get. And we just cannot do that. We've got the right manager now. Let's work on it. Let's back him fully. Let's see if he can change the attitude of the chairman. At the moment, it's promising. Perhaps that is starting to happen now. Perhaps the Paratici and Conte effect is actually getting to Levy, and he realises he's actually got to do it now. No matter what, no matter how painful this rebuild is, it's happening now. The summer's got to be massive. You can't get away with just 2 promising players in and 4 out the door again, save wages. No, with summer we've got to be doing the reverse. Get a couple out you might not need. Get 4 in that are bloody brilliant for the club. We want to be pushing forward. We've got to do it big style. Nothing else will do. As a fan, I'm not accepting anything less. Been accepting this bullshit for 20 years. Well, more than 30 years already. I mean, can't blame Sugar too much because he did literally save us some bankruptcy, and he did put his hand in his own pocket to get us some players. So he didn't know much about football, but he did his best, I think. His time certainly did come to an end. But we were promised big things with Enoch, and they failed to deliver. And the fact that they failed to deliver for 20 years says everything. Because if it was a few years of stumbling through things till they got it right, that'll be one thing. But to continue to do it and make it your MO, basically. Make a bit of money, be happy with 4th. What a load of crap. So Enoch out, Levy out, unless they prove me different. Pull your finger out of your wallet. Keep your wallet open. Let Paratici and Conte have a rifle through it. Let's get some players in the summer. Then everybody's happy. Start getting some trophies in. Nothing's acceptable until the trophies start coming in.
Success breeds success.
Damn right.
I've been trawling through the history of Burnley versus Tottenham, just to change the subject quickly. And I'll tell you what, I found some amazing scores already. Do you want to read these comments here, Cove? If read the one from John Fitzpatrick and read them out there, Cove.
John, I bet Levy is counting down the days until Daigle gets his flight back to Canada. I'll bet you anything. Levy knows all about Brian Daigle, our leader and hero. Yeah, I bet he does.
Yeah. he checks under his bed at night just to see Daigle isn't there with his smoked salmon cream cheese sandwich.
Levy's a billionaire. Levy's a billionaire chairman. Of course, he's going to know about people that oppose him.
And can I just say how lovely it was to hear Bob Spur on YouTube yesterday?
Yeah.
Really was. I was lucky enough to be on the same stream actually as Bob Spur yesterday. I only went on just to tell him I didn't feel right about Brian McMahon. Do you want to plug your channel? And I said, look, I don't feel right plugging my channel. The great man's here. I just wanted to come on and say hello to him, how great it is to hear him. And it really was. And he's got a long way to go. But Bob, if you're watching, good morning, sir. And you know what? And again, thank you for all the help you gave me in the early days of this channel, all the advice, what to do, and everything. I couldn't have done it without you, man. You really were so nice to go to anytime, day or night, if I needed advice. And when you're better, when you're well, and when you're back on your feet completely, we'd love to have you on here. And we'll have a good tune mag about Tottenham. Because that's all what we want to see is Bob Spur back on, telling us all to piss off.
Yeah.
That's what we want.
Nice flashes of that yesterday, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. And it was lovely to hear. And Bob, you're an inspiration, not just to me, but to everybody on YouTube. You are a fighter. You really are the Mike Tyson of the COVID world. You've beaten it. You've beaten it down. You're like Rocky. You keep coming. You keep punching. And you keep going forward. So big up, Bob, and hopefully it was lovely to hear you yesterday. Sorry, Cooper and Ben, I didn't mean to interrupt you there. What started you there, Benny boy?
Alan Harris saying the trouble is, Cooper, when they made their promises, you only had two teams to really chase. Now with City and Chelsea, it's been harder to get over the line. And I am now officially Enoch out. Welcome, Alan. We have great biscuits, we have great coffee, and we have great sandwiches, and we have great chat as well.
And a shitload of nostalgia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've just got one more in the stronghold. It's great stuff. And Carl was
he's quite right though. It's much harder than ever to win at the moment.
Yeah.
But the one thing you don't do is give up and settle for being second best. I've heard people in the fan base over the years saying, "Oh well, we're the sixth richest team in the league, so sixth is our level." Like, oh, that's okay then. What? You don't push for more than that? Why bother even playing at all? If you're not going to try and win, don't even bother entering the competition.
Yeah.
Do something else with your life. If you're going to be playing football for our club, you give everything. You try and win it. Anyway, Burnley coming up. Who was it? It was out of Akron, I think he was saying. Guys, are we in agreement that as perfectly the formation and tactics worked on Saturday, that they shouldn't be repeated tomorrow night? If we sat back like that, would Burnley even come at us?
No.
I'll totally agree. It's got to be different tactics. We're player for player. We're just a better football inside than they are.
Yeah.
Get the ball on the deck, attack them, spank them 3-0. Anything less than a 3-0 win, as far as I'm concerned, is a bit of a failure on the night. We should just be dispatching this like a bunch of clowns.
Yeah. Right. I've gone through the archives. I really have gone through the archives for some of these scores. I mean, these are really this is when football was football. Right. We have where is it now? Oh, here we go. From the 1924-25 season, Burnley beat us 5-1. But that's not the best score. This is the best one. From 1930-31, right? Tottenham Hotspur 8, Burnley 8.
Ooh,
I mean, that must have been one hell of a game.
You know what? I just said 3-0 to us would be something to aim at. I think I'd actually settle for an 8-all draw. I'd like to see that.
I mean, that'd be brilliant.
In 1924, that was in the 30-31 season. And this is from the 1924-25 season. Tottenham 4, Burnley 4. I mean, but the 8-all. Very quickly, before we start, you can now go on. I've linked the Patreon site to the channel now, and you can become a Patreon member of TTG. So what you do, if you press on the link, you go onto Patreon, and then it will come up with posts. What you do is you press My Membership, and then it says Show More Tiers, and then you can pick what tiers you want to join. There's 3 tiers. There's the TTG member, there's a Bill Nick member, and there's the Conte member. All very cheaply priced. So you can pick what tier you want, and you can become officially a patron of TTG, a professional member, as from this morning. And all your membership money goes back into the channel to make us, even better than we already are. So if the link's on the channel, so if you want to become an official member of TTG, just follow the link, and then you go into my membership, and then you choose your tier, and then you'll be officially a member of this great channel of myself, Kuva, Ben, and Hollywood Phil as well. So that's up and running as from today. Kuva,
the money that goes back in, it might actually buy Dermot a setup that's not from the 1890s.
Yeah, that's true.
At some
that's
point.
True. Yeah, I'm just landing a plane at the moment from Canada. I think it's Brian Daigle chasing Levy. So
somewhere behind you, there's a little dog barking into a gramophone.
There is, yeah. I've got him in the kitchen. I'm just going to wind them up in a minute. Hang on, let me go and wind them up right back in a minute.
What, the dog?
And also,
all patrons of TTG get a 10% discount at the coffee company. So
yeah, and also, as from tomorrow, we will be. I've been meaning to get this up. We are being sponsored by Smith Burns, a phone shop in Gorey, that have their own websites. As from tomorrow, that will be officially up on the channel. The website, you get a 5% discount. From all they wear, like their phone accessories and everything like that. So as from tomorrow, that will be officially up on the channel as well. So as from tomorrow, this channel will be sponsored by Smith Burns, Gory. So that will be up tomorrow. I just haven't had a chance yet to get it all up and running. Alan Harris, yeah, I know he rang me yesterday, saying about he's done his all-time Spurs 11. But he's done substitutes as well. So so he said he'd pop on Friday. So just to go through that team with us. So that should be pretty exciting. And also telling us more about his Steve Perryman going on to Shelfside Spurs on the 3rd of March.
Missing that because I'll be away, but I hope they have a brilliant stream on Shelfside Spurs.
Yeah. They will do. Steve Perryman, somebody special, isn't he, Kev and Ben?
Yeah, he is.
Absolutely. I mean, the amount of anecdotes and stories from the club that Steve Perryman's got, he could have sat there and talked for about 6 hours straight. Would have been captivated the whole time.
We need a show too with Steve Perryman, don't we?
You could have one every night of the week. There'd still be more stuff coming out. Just wealth of knowledge about football in general. I mean, all the teams he played against, all the characters he's met playing against. It's not just our club. It's the whole sport in general. You can tell he just loves the game of football.
He was almost dejected because of the way football is now. Like there's gamesmanship. There's a lack of respect towards everyone in the football community from the players, and lack of respect. In his day, players didn't dream of disrespecting the referee like they do now, and it's a real shame. But it's good to see people like Steve Perryman showing that we can be respectful towards the authorities if they're respectful towards us as well. They're equally culpable now.
I think there was something the other day. One of the fans was saying, I could understand why they said it, but I couldn't agree with it. And they were saying they want our players to be nasty, surround the referee and badger them like Manchester United and Arsenal used to do. I can understand why they say that because they're trying to, get that advantage over teams like as I said, Man United and Arsenal used to do that a lot. But I actually hate that. I prefer the Brian Clough approach to that. Yeah. He used to fine players if they questioned the referee. The only player he'd allow on his team to talk to the referee was the captain, and that's if there's an issue needed looking at. I think that is the way to do it. You should be gentlemen on the pitch to the officials. It's for the fans to call them all sorts of things. Get rid of VAR and start calling them, the so and so in the black. I mean, that's where it used to be. It used to be great fun.
Yeah, I mean, I personally want the players to surround the referee because everyone else does it. If everyone else stops doing it, I want our team to do it.
Yeah, I mean that's what I mean. It should be a across the board thing, shouldn't it? Yeah.
Because if we're playing against the Wolves did it perfectly every time. They fell on the floor, they surrounded the referee, This is Wolves. This isn't even a Manchester United with like Roy Keanes and Scholeses and Giggses and all the evil people in their teams. This is Wolves that are doing it. It needs to be a unanimous thing that needs to be stopped.
You've upset King Arthur.
Oh. Just to say a massive hello to Dermot, Coover, and Ben. Big up, guys. When am I going to get my invite then? This Friday, Arthur, we want you to be on the Bill Nick show because there is no one that knows more about Tottenham than Mr. King Arthur himself. So if you drop us your details, if you can drop us, you'll get Kimber to send them to me or to Coover. We would love to have you on for the Bill Nick show.
I'm a guest, mate.
Yeah. You're a guest, but you're also part of the fabric. You're part of the furniture.
I'm a guest at the moment. I'm officially not part of your lot, your gang,
right. I'm just
posse.
Yeah, he's what he's doing. We've pimped him out. That's what we've done. We've pimped him out. That's what we've done. We've pimped him out to a street corner with a little TTG sign on and over at Randy's neck.
I'm D'Artagnan and you're the two musketeers at the moment.
Yeah.
That's what it is, yeah.
So, if you are around on Friday evening, we would love to have you on our Bill Nick show and we can go down memory lane and talk about how great of a man Mr. Bill Nicholson was. It'd be amazing to have you, as well as Mr. Philip Brady if he's around.
Yeah, that's one person I have to get in contact with. But yeah. Arthur, please, we'd love to have you on Friday. That's the show, actually. I was going to get you to build up, Ben.
Yeah.
That's the big show we're doing this week is the Bill Nick special. We're discussing everything Bill Nick from his playing days for Tottenham, where he played in the great push and run side, up to when he left Tottenham in 1974 after a 5-1 defeat of Middlesbrough. He left after that game. Up to him going to West Ham for a season, where he worked for West Ham as a consultant for one season, to when he came back to Tottenham under Keith Birkinshaw as a consultant, right up to I think the early 90s.
Yeah. It's lovely to see you in the chat as always, Arthur. And
it really is.
That's going to be a brilliant show on Friday. It's going to be an absolutely.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm really looking forward to it. And big up to you, Arthur, Irene, and Kim B. And it was so great to see Bob Swear back on YouTube yesterday and hearing his voice. Gave us all such a lift. It really did.
Family unit. Alan, what time is Bill Nick on Friday? It's going to be at 9 o'clock in the evening. So we might have some revolving guests as well. But if you're around, Alan, and you want to talk about the great man, Bill Nick, we'll happily put the link to you. But it's going to be a wonderful show. We're going to have some great chats, and it's going to be brilliant to go down memory lane in true Tottenham Tantrum Gold fashion. And it's going to be brilliant celebrating the greatest man in the history of Tottenham Hotspur Football Club in my opinion.
It is, and I've got pictures of him in his England career as well. He made one England cap, I think, and I've got pictures of him in his England career, and there's pictures of him. Iris, not Irene, sorry. I always get his full wife's name wrong. I don't know why.
Name wrong, no, Dermot.
Every blooming time. I am sorry, Arthur. I apologise deeply.
Come on, Dermot. Just remember it like the Dexys Midnight Runners song.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, I can have that playing in my head. That's it. I remember it now.
No, you won't.
Oh, Lord God.
Oh, no. Here goes the show.
Yeah,
the show's gone since I come on, Ben, so don't worry about it.
Yeah, I have it all professional, and then you come on and you throw it under the bus again.
Yeah.
What I do like is Arthur and Iris and Kim. It's just like the family unit. It's like they're born to be on YouTube. All of them.
They should have their own TV show. I said that to you before. I haven't no idea. They're like the Spurs version of the Kardashians. That's what they're like. Do you know?
So more exciting than the Kardashians, I think.
Much more classy as well.
Yeah.
The Osbournes, maybe a bit more fun.
Oh yeah, the Osbournes. Yeah, that actually sounds better. Actually,
I would love to have there should definitely be a sitcom with the Cottons in. I think that'd be the funniest series on the planet. You got my dad who's totally mental, my uncle who's totally mental, you got my brother who's totally mental, you got my other brother who's totally mental, we've got got my mum that's totally mental, and then there's me that's even more mental. It'd be the most brilliant show on the planet with reoccurring guests such as Dermot Moyles.
If it's anything to go by, then it's an argument in every room the camera would go to.
Basically, yeah. What are they arguing about today? Oh, Will has taken all the pickle jars.
There you go, see.
Kardashians.
I can't stand them either. I don't know why people watch them.
Arthur's going to get his sword out. King Arthur is coming over to Wexford.
I like this one though, and it is. I mean, I've talked about. He only made one England cap, a bit like Glenn Hoddle was never used properly for England either. It's such a crying shame because Bill Nick was a great player.
One meaningless cap against Iceland. Well, I suppose it wasn't completely meaningless. You can say. I would, in some ways, it would have been better to have him not capped at all, and you could say he was the greatest ever player not to be capped.
Yeah. But that was Bill Nick, only one England cap, a bit like it was the same as Steve Perryman, same as Glenn Hoddle. England don't seem to use Tottenham players for England well.
When Pochettino was manager, then they were only.
Yeah, but you look at our Irish side. We had Tony Galvin, we had Chrissy Houghton or Houghton. All them played regularly for Ireland, but you look at the other players like Glenn Hoddle or Steve Perryman or even the great Bill Nick that only have one or two games. They don't use their best players properly, and it's a shame.
Well, England always used to favour the 4-4-2, and you could have workhorses in midfield, and that's why we got the Brian Robsons always playing ahead of the Glenn Hoddles. But like I always like what Michel Platini said: if Hoddle had been born French, he would have had 150 caps easily. It's so true.
I mean, it's a thing with English football. We don't promote footballers. We only promote brutes and hooligans and rubbish footballers. I mean, I don't understand. I don't know why it's the English coach's mentality. I don't know if it was. Who was the manager when Glenn Hoddle was playing? It wasn't Don Revie, was it? It was the guy after Don Revie.
But Bobby Robson.
Yeah.
It was Greenwood, and then Bobby Robson.
So why would Bobby Robson love the good footballer? So I don't understand why he wouldn't have picked him.
Well, he did pick him. He's still got quite a few caps. It's just
he was never the centre of the team though, which he should have been with someone like Glenn Hoddle.
It kind of fluked his way into it at times, like in the '86 World Cup finals. Brian Robson had gone there with a dodgy shoulder and dislocated it in the early game, and then it sort of forced the issue of Ray Wilkins then got himself sent off, and it forced the issue of Glenn Hoddle and Peter Reid becoming the midfield, and it worked brilliantly. It was balanced. There was brilliance of Hoddle, and Reid was happy to step back and be the sort of the water carrier role, the Makalele role, and let Hoddle do the creative stuff, and it worked really well. It was such a good balance. I mean, if it wasn't for Maradona, we could have gone on and won that World Cup as well.
Do you really think so, Goof?
Yeah. Gary Lineker had to be fouled to stop him reaching a header to make it 2-2 in that game. We could have taken that to extra time. We had the ability to take that World Cup, definitely.
More than the 90s World Cup side?
Equally.
We had better players in that in the 80s World Cup side. We had better players. But the problem is we came up against possibly the greatest footballer in the history of all time, arguably, and he cheated his arse off in that game. So.
I was going to say that. I mean, to England fans, he was probably the biggest cheater in world football. To us Irish fans, we thought it was brilliant. We were laughing.
Yeah, and we did find it funny. I don't like him because he played for Arsenal.
But the thing is, right, it was funny. He was running after he scored the goal, looking at the referee, right, when he scored the handball. You know, cheekily looking, look what I've done, what are you going to do about it? And the referee did nothing. It was quite I mean, did you think, Kubo, you remember that match well, did you think it was handball straight away, or did you think it was a great header? What was your first reaction when you saw it?
Well, the TV picture wasn't exactly the greatest at the time, so I wasn't sure. But I looked at Shilton's reaction, and he's holding his hand like that, and you could tell he was really incensed by it. And then I thought, oh yeah, sorry.
Should just beat him up then.
Yeah, should have just decked him. That would have been an interesting one. But
what did you think of his second goal, though? I mean, apparently that pitch was falling apart.
well, the second goal was just genius. I mean, there's no other word for it. I mean, people have done great dribbles and scored great goals before, but to do it in a World Cup final against one of the favourites, that's just something else. That's next level.
Yeah. Are you reading what I'm reading from Arthur here?
This is going to
There's always rumours.
Yeah.
There's always rumours.
Anyway, we'll read it out. It said, news, I hear Kane is looking to go to Man United at the season end, and Holberg is up for sale for 25 million.
I mean, I'm going to start with this and then head over to you two. I think that Harry Kane is going to sign a contract. If Conte is backed, Harry Kane will stay. That is the if. If Antonio Conte is not backed, Harry Kane will leave.
What's the only? Yeah. Sorry, good Ben. Go on.
And with Højbjerg, there's a price on any player's head. And Højbjerg isn't the be-all and end-all. As much as we all love Højbjerg, there are definite improvements we can go and get out there. So 25 million for Højbjerg wouldn't be a bad price. And that 25 million would change if a team like Roma came in. If Roma wanted him, it would be 40 million if we'd be selling him for Jose Mourinho. I never go by figures. The club will get what the club gets if he leaves, but I don't see those two players going anytime soon.
Right, Kane to Manchester United. I don't believe that for a second.
Yeah.
What's the only reason Kane's going to leave Spurs? Well, I don't believe it's going to be for the money. It might be to be in with a trophy-winning side. That isn't Manchester United, is it?
No, it's not.
So why would he go there? It makes no sense at all. Højbjerg, on the other hand, I could believe he gets sold. Because despite I don't know how many fans love his work rate and everything, and his passion and his desire to win tackles and everything, but at the end of the day, is that really what Conte wants? Is he just a little bit too slow? Is he not quite capable of getting up and down the pitch as quickly as Conte wants him to? I think that might be the case. I think Conte might be looking at skip up for the future and then get somebody in with a little bit more, what's the word? A little bit more sort of oomph to him, a little bit more energy, a little bit more mobility at the end of the day. Højbjerg's a very slow player. I've never been a big fan, to be honest, but he does have his merits when we're up against it. He played very well on Sunday in places. On Saturday in places, particularly when Man City upped their game. Højbjerg stepped up for about 20 minutes and took the sting out of them, and our team responded. So, I can kind of believe that, but I definitely don't believe the Kane came to United.
The only reason he would go to Man United if Poch went there, I think that would be the only pull for him. And
don't see Poch going there.
No, I think Poch will go to. I think someone said in the chat, Real Madrid.
Yeah, that makes more sense.
I
to
can
me.
see him going there.
Right.
Shall we go through these comments quickly? Because I know you've got to shoot off, Ben. So, we've got Alan Harris here. Go on, Cove. I hit him, you read them.
Okay, then. One day I'll tell you a funny story about that game versus Argentina, Cuba. Look forward to it, mate. And John Fitzpatrick, the two signings we got in January have enough quality between them to give us the boost we need to get top four. Looks that way so far, doesn't it? Let's hope we stay relatively free of injuries. That's going to be the key to everything, in my opinion. Carl Simpson, not to United anymore, just as that was only with the Poch, but it looks like he'll go to Real Madrid. That's possible.
Will they sack Ancelotti, though? Probably.
If they don't win enough, yeah.
If they don't win the Champions League or La Liga, they will sack them.
Possibly.
Real Madrid, it's always going to be about Champions League, isn't it? Arthur saying, I think it could have legs as manure after Poch. Yeah, again, I just don't see him going there. It doesn't seem a good sort of career move for him.
Yeah, he's going to want a guaranteed team now.
If anything, if he's going to come back to England at the moment, the one I could see him working at would be Newcastle.
Yeah.
because they would be quite happy to invest in a shitload of really young, talented players.
Yeah.
And then
I
get
don't
the
think
best
Poch
out of
wants to do that anymore. I think Poch wants a ready-made team now. I think he's done with building projects. That's what I
it. I don't know. I think he still gets a kick out of working with the youngsters, to be honest. But I think he wants to work with a very talented group of youngsters rather than just Carl Simpson. Apparently, Real Madrid are considering discussing with Posh representatives. I believe that definitely.
Yeah. So, right, we're going to wrap up the morning show this morning. It was a great hour show going on to Burnley. We will be back tomorrow morning for the pre-game build-up for the Burnley game tomorrow, which should be a bit of a cracker. And we will be doing a post-match show after the Burnley game at 10 o'clock in the evening. It's going to be brilliant. So thank you all for joining. You will find me on my coffee show at 2 o'clock if I'm round, and I hope to see you there. Dermot, take this up, Mr. Sebo, or with Mr. Coover. We know where Coover is.
Right. Thank you all for watching. Please like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell. And also, if you want to become a member, hit the Patreon sign on the YouTube channel and choose your tier and become a member. Become a member of TTG family, where you will get a welcome message of welcoming you to this family of Tottenham fans, legends, and that's what we are. Thank you all for watching this morning. Thank you to Hoover again for popping on. Thanks to Ben. 18 people watching. God bless you all. See you tomorrow.